Hello to everyone tuning in. Just a quick start. It's a fun idea if you share where you're listening from. Thanks. Like and subscribe, and let's get comfortable and start the fun. I sit next to Lisa in our cozy living room, the dim light casting soft shadows on the walls. She's on the couch, still groggy from her wisdom tooth extraction. Her head lolls to the side, a faint giggle escaping her lips. I watch her closely, a mix of concern and affection swelling in my chest. The TV hums in the background, a mindless distraction. "Mark, you're such a good husband," she slurs, eyes half closed. I smile, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Thanks, Lisa. Just rest, okay?" She laughs again, a strange sound. "You have no idea, do you?" Her words are garbled, almost childlike. "You're such an idiot. I've been cheating on you, and you haven't even noticed." My heart stops. Did I hear that right? I feel the blood drain from my face. "What did you say?" She giggles, her eyes unfocused. "Cheating on you. You never noticed. So dumb." Shock hits me like a physical blow. I stand up abruptly, my knee knocking into the coffee table. The glass in Lisa's hand tips over, spilling water onto the rug. "Lisa, what the hell are you talking about?" She doesn't respond, her head lolling back as she slips into a deeper sleep. I stare at her, my mind racing. Is this the anesthesia talking? Or is there a kernel of truth in her slurred confession? I feel dizzy, like the room is tilting. I stumble back, my foot catching on the edge of the rug. I crash into the TV stand, pain shooting up my leg. But the physical pain is nothing compared to the turmoil inside my head. My wife, my Lisa, cheating. I can't wrap my mind around it. I sit on the floor, breathing heavily, my heart pounding in my chest. Images flood my mind. Our wedding day, vacations, quiet nights at home. Were all those moments a lie? I glance at Lisa, now peacefully asleep, oblivious to the bomb she's just dropped on me. My hands tremble as I push myself up, needing space to think. I head to the kitchen, the cold tile floor grounding me. I pour a glass of water, trying to steady my nerves. My thoughts are a chaotic mess. How long has this been going on? Who is it? I feel a surge of anger, a hot, burning rage I've never felt before. I grip the edge of the counter, my knuckles white. I need answers, but confronting her now is pointless. She's too out of it to give me a straight response. I take a deep breath, trying to calm myself. There has to be a way to find out the truth without tipping her off. The TV continues to drone in the background, a stark contrast to the storm inside me. I take one last look at Lisa, my mind made up. Tomorrow, when she's fully awake, I'll get my answers. One way or another, I'll know the truth. The next morning, the sun filters through the bedroom curtains, casting a warm glow on Lisa's face. She stirs, slowly waking up from her drug-induced slumber. I sit at the edge of the bed, my mind a whirlwind of confusion and anger. "Good morning," she murmurs, stretching. Her eyes are still heavy with sleep. "Morning," I reply, my voice tight. "How are you feeling?" "Better," she says, rubbing her eyes. "What happened last night? I remember bits and pieces." I swallow hard. "You were pretty out of it. Said some strange things." Lisa frowns, trying to recall. "Like what?" "Like, you've been cheating on me," I say, my eyes locked on hers. I see a flicker of panic before she masks it with a laugh. "Oh, Mark, that must have been the anesthesia talking," she says, waving it off. "You know I'd never do that." Her words do little to ease my suspicions. I nod, pretending to accept her explanation. But inside, I'm seething. I need proof. I need the truth. After breakfast, I wait for Lisa to leave for her follow-up appointment. Once she's gone, I dive into her laptop, her phone, anything that might hold answers. I feel a pang of guilt, but it's quickly overshadowed by the need to know. Her phone yields nothing, but her laptop is a different story. Hidden in a folder buried deep within her files, I find a string of emails and messages. My heart races as I read through them, each word a dagger to my heart. The messages are explicit, filled with details of their encounters. The name Tom appears frequently. Tom, my close friend. The betrayal stings even more. I sit back, the laptop slipping from my fingers. Anger and hurt blend into a toxic mix. I clench my fists, struggling to control my emotions. I need a plan. Confronting Lisa outright could make her defensive, and she might try to cover her tracks. I need to be smart about this. I spend the day collecting evidence, taking screenshots, and saving copies of the messages. I also set up a hidden camera in our living room, hoping to catch any future interactions. My heart aches with every step, but I push through the pain. I need to see this through. Lisa returns home in the afternoon, looking tired but in better spirits. "How was your day?" she asks, leaning in for a kiss. "Fine," I reply, forcing a smile. "Just worked on some projects." We settle into our usual routine, but the air between us is tense. I watch her closely, analyzing every move, every word. The trust we once had is shattered, replaced by suspicion and doubt. That night I lie awake, my mind racing. I replay her words over and over, each time feeling the sting of betrayal. I know I need to confront Tom, but the thought of seeing him, of facing him, fills me with dread. I decide to bide my time, gathering more evidence before making my move. Over the next few days, I continue my investigation, piecing together the timeline of their affair. Each discovery fuels my anger and determination. I start to notice little things, moments when Lisa's phone buzzes with a message she quickly hides, or the way she avoids eye contact when I mention Tom. The tension between us grows thicker, an unspoken battle of wills. One evening, Lisa suggests we invite Tom and his wife, Sarah, over for dinner. The idea makes my stomach churn, but I agree, hoping to gather more evidence. The night arrives, and I force myself to play the gracious host. Tom and Sarah arrive, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. We sit in the living room, making small talk. I watch Tom closely, every word he speaks, every glance he exchanges with Lisa. "So Tom," I say casually, "how's work been?" "Busy as always," he replies, flashing a smile. "You know how it is." I nod, forcing a smile. "Yeah, I do." As the evening progresses, I catch a few subtle glances between Tom and Lisa, but nothing overt. It's enough to stoke the fire of my suspicions. I excuse myself to the kitchen, needing a moment to breathe. As I stand by the sink, my mind races. I can't keep up this charade forever. I need to confront them. Returning to the living room, I find Lisa and Tom deep in conversation, their laughter grating on my nerves. Sarah sits quietly, sipping her wine. I wonder if she suspects anything. Eventually, the evening comes to an end. We say our goodbyes, and I watch as Tom and Sarah drive away. The tension between Lisa and me is palpable. She senses my anger but says nothing. I wait until she's asleep before reviewing the footage from the hidden camera. My heart pounds as I fast forward through the evening, looking for anything incriminating. There, in a brief moment, I catch them. A fleeting touch, a look that speaks volumes. It's all I need to confirm my suspicions. The next morning, I decide it's time to confront Tom. I call him, arranging to meet at a nearby park. The thought of facing him fills me with a mix of dread and determination. I need to hear it from him. I need to see the truth in his eyes. We meet at a secluded spot, the air thick with tension. Tom looks nervous, sensing something is off. "Hey, Mark, what's up?" I cut straight to the point. "I know about you and Lisa." His face pales and he stammers. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb, Tom. I found the messages. I know everything." He sighs, his shoulders slumping. "Mark, I'm sorry. It just happened. We didn't mean for it to go this far." His words hit me like a punch to the gut. I feel a surge of anger, my fists clenching. "How long?" "6 months," he admits, looking down at his feet. 6 months? I can't believe it. You were supposed to be my friend." "I know," he says, his voice filled with regret. "I'm sorry, Mark. I really am." "Sorry doesn't cut it," I snap. "You've destroyed my marriage." "I know," he repeats, looking genuinely remorseful. "But what are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," I admit, the anger still simmering. "But you can bet there will be consequences." We part ways, the weight of betrayal heavy on my shoulders. I head home, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge and justice. Confronting Lisa is next, but I need to be careful. I need to think this through. When I get home, Lisa is waiting for me. She can see the anger in my eyes, the tension in my posture. "Mark, what's wrong?" Tom confessed, I say, my voice cold. I know everything. She pales, her eyes wide with fear. Mark, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen. How could you? I shout, my voice breaking. How could you do this to us? Tears stream down her face and she sinks to her knees. I'm so sorry. I was lonely and things just spiraled out of control. Lonely? I scoff. So you cheat on me with my best friend? It wasn't like that, she pleads. It just happened. That's not good enough, I say, my voice shaking. You've broken my trust, Lisa. I don't know if we can come back from this. We stand in silence, the weight of her betrayal hanging heavy in the air. I turn away, needing space to think. My mind races with thoughts of the trial, the evidence I've gathered, and the fight that lies ahead. The next few days are a blur of anger and sadness. I go through the motions, but my heart isn't in it. Lisa tries to make amends, but it feels hollow. The trust we once had is shattered, replaced by a chasm of betrayal. I meet with a lawyer, laying out the evidence I've collected. He's impressed with the thoroughness of my investigation and assures me we have a strong case. The thought of dragging this through the courts fills me with dread, but I know it's necessary. Lisa needs to face the consequences of her actions, and so does Tom. As the trial date approaches, the tension between Lisa and me grows unbearable. She pleads with me to reconsider, to work things out privately, but I'm resolute. This betrayal is too deep, too painful to sweep under the rug. The day of the trial arrives, and I feel a mix of anxiety and determination. I dress carefully, wanting to present a strong front. Lisa looks pale and anxious, a stark contrast to her usual confident self. We barely speak as we head to the courthouse. In the courtroom, the atmosphere is tense. Our friends and family are there, their faces a mix of shock and sympathy. The proceedings begin, and I present the evidence I've gathered. The explicit messages, the hidden camera footage, the confrontation with Tom. It's all laid bare for everyone to see. Lisa looks devastated, tears streaming down her face. Tom avoids my gaze, his guilt written all over his face. The judge listens carefully, his expression stern. As the trial progresses, the weight of their betrayal becomes clear to everyone in the room. In the end, the judge rules in my favor. I'm granted a substantial settlement, and Lisa's I wake up the next morning, the court ruling still fresh in my mind. The judge granted me a substantial settlement, but it feels hollow. The betrayal lingers, poisoning every thought and moment. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind a whirlwind of anger and sadness. I get up, determined to keep moving forward. I need to focus on what comes next. The evidence I've gathered has given me a victory in court, but the real battle is far from over. Lisa is still here, still a part of my life, and her presence is a constant reminder of her betrayal. I head to the kitchen, the smell of coffee filling the air. Lisa sits at the table, her eyes puffy and red. She looks up as I enter, her expression a mix of guilt and sorrow. Mark, she begins, her voice shaky, I know you hate me right now, but can we at least try to talk? I sigh, feeling the weight of her words. Talk about what, Lisa? About how you cheated on me with my best friend? About how you destroyed our marriage? Tears well up in her eyes again, but I feel no sympathy. I'm sorry, she whispers. I wish I could take it back. But you can't, I snap. You can't undo what you did. She's silent, her shoulders shaking with quiet sobs. I grab my coffee and leave the room, unable to stand being near her. I need to clear my head, to think about what comes next. I spend the day going through my plans. The settlement gives me financial security, but I need to figure out the rest of my life. I call my lawyer to discuss the next steps. The divorce proceedings are underway, but there's still a lot to handle. Mark, you need to stay focused, my lawyer says. The settlement is a good start, but you need to think about your future. What do you want to do next? I don't know, I admit. I need to get away from here. From her. Take some time, he advises. Get away if you need to. Clear your head. I decide to take his advice. I book a cabin in the mountains, far from the memories and pain. I pack my things, telling Lisa I need some space. She doesn't argue, just nods and watches me go with tear-filled eyes. The drive to the cabin is long and winding, but it gives me time to think. I replay everything in my mind: the betrayal, the court case, the confrontation with Tom. The anger simmers beneath the surface, but there's also a strange sense of relief. I face the worst of it and come out the other side. The cabin is secluded, surrounded by tall trees and the sound of nature. It's exactly what I need. I spend the first few days in silence, letting the peace of the forest soothe my mind. I hike, I read, I sit by the fire, letting the tranquility wash over me. One evening, as I sit on the porch, I hear a car approaching. My heart races, wondering who it could be. A moment later, Tom steps out of the car. My first instinct is to lash out, but I hold back, curious about what he has to say. "Mark," he says, his voice tentative, "I know I'm the last person you want to see, but I needed to talk to you." "What do you want, Tom?" I ask, my voice cold. "I wanted to apologize," he says, stepping closer. "I know I've said it before, but I need you to understand how sorry I am. I never meant for any of this to happen." I stare at him, my anger bubbling to the surface. "You think an apology is going to fix this? You slept with my wife, Tom. You betrayed me." "I know," he says, his voice breaking, "and I hate myself for it. I've lost everything because of my stupidity. Sarah left me. I've lost my best friend. I just wanted a chance to try and make things right." "There's no making this right," I say, my voice trembling with rage. "You've destroyed everything." He hangs his head, defeated. "I know, but I had to try." I watch him for a moment, my mind racing. Part of me wants to punch him, to make him feel the physical pain he's caused me emotionally. But another part of me, a smaller part, pities him. He looks broken, a shell of the man he once was. "Leave, Tom," I finally say. "There's nothing left to say." He nods, turning to go. "If you ever change your mind, I'm here," he says quietly before getting back into his car. I watch him drive away, feeling a strange mix of emotions. The anger is still there, but so is a small, flickering sense of closure. I've faced him, confronted him, and now I can start to move on. The next few days pass in a blur of solitude and reflection. I think about my life, my future, and what I want to do next. The pain of betrayal is still raw, but the peace of the mountains helps soothe it. I start to make plans, thinking about new projects, new goals. One evening, as I sit by the fire, my phone buzzes. It's a message from Lisa. I hesitate before opening it. "Mark, I know you need space, but I wanted to let you know that I'm moving out. I'll be staying with a friend for a while. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me one day." "Lisa?" I stare at the message, feeling a pang of sadness. Despite everything, there's a part of me that still cares for her, that misses the life we once had. But I know that life is gone, replaced by a new, uncertain future. I take a deep breath, letting the sadness wash over me. I reply, keeping my message brief. "Take care, Lisa." As I sit by the fire watching the flames dance, I feel a sense of calm. The road ahead is still unclear, but I know I'll find my way. The betrayal and pain will always be a part of me, but they don't define me. I'm stronger than that. The days turn into weeks, and slowly I start to rebuild my life. I return to work, throwing myself into new projects. The distraction helps, giving me something to focus on. I reconnect with old friends, seeking support and companionship. They're there for me, helping me through the darkest moments. One day, as I sit in my office, my phone buzzes with a new message. It's from an old college friend, Jane. We lost touch over the years, but seeing her name brings a smile to my face. "Hey, Mark, long time no see. I heard about what happened and wanted to reach out. Let's catch up soon." "Jane." I smile, feeling a spark of hope. Maybe this is the start of something new, a chance to reconnect and build new relationships. I reply, setting up a time to meet. We meet at a cafe, and it's like no time has passed. We talk for hours, catching up on life, reminiscing about old times. There's a warmth and comfort in her presence, something I haven't felt in a long time. As the weeks go by, Jane and I grow closer. She becomes a steady presence in my life, helping me heal and move forward. The pain of the past is still there, but it starts to fade, replaced by new memories and new beginnings. One evening, as we sit by the fire at my cabin, Jane turns to me, her eyes filled with warmth and understanding. You've been through so much, Mark, but you're strong. You've come out the other side. I nod, feeling a sense of peace. Thanks, Jane. I couldn't have done it without you. She smiles, leaning in to kiss me. The kiss is soft and gentle, filled with promise. It's a new beginning, a chance to start fresh. As we sit by the fire, holding each other close, I feel a sense of hope. The road ahead is still uncertain, but I'm no longer walking it alone. I have Jane by my side, and together, we'll face whatever comes next. The day of the trial dawns gray and cold. I stand in front of the mirror, adjusting my tie with shaking hands. The reflection that stares back at me is a stranger, eyes hollowed from sleepless nights, a face drawn tight with tension. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Today is the culmination of everything, the peak of this nightmarish journey. Jane enters the room, her presence a comforting warmth. She places a hand on my shoulder, squeezing gently. You've got this, Mark. Just tell the truth. Let them see what you've been through. I nod, grateful for her support. Thanks, Jane. I don't know what I'd do without you. We drive to the courthouse in silence, the weight of what's to come pressing down on us. My mind races with thoughts of the evidence I've collected, the betrayal and the confrontation. I replay every moment, every detail, hoping I haven't missed anything. This is my chance to make Lisa and Tom pay, to show the world the pain they've caused me. The courthouse is a daunting structure, its imposing columns and stern facade reflecting the gravity of what's about to happen. I take a deep breath and walk inside, my footsteps echoing in the vast empty hallway. Jane stays by my side, her presence a steadying force. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere is tense. Lisa sits at one table, looking fragile and pale. Tom is at another, his face a mask of regret. Their lawyers sit beside them, shuffling papers and whispering in low voices. My lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman named Evelyn, stands ready, her confidence a stark contrast to my nerves. The judge enters, and the room falls silent. The trial begins, and Evelyn steps forward, laying out our case with precision and clarity. She presents the evidence I've painstakingly gathered, the explicit messages, the hidden camera footage, the timeline of their affair. Each piece is a knife, cutting deeper into Lisa's and Tom's carefully constructed defenses. I take the stand, my heart pounding. Evelyn's questions are direct, each one designed to paint a clear picture of the betrayal and its impact on my life. I answer honestly, my voice steady despite the emotions churning inside me. Mark, can you describe how you felt when you discovered the affair? Evelyn asks, her eyes locked on mine. I swallow hard, the memory of that moment still raw. I felt like my world had been shattered. Everything I believed in, everything I trusted, was ripped away. It was the deepest betrayal imaginable. Lisa looks down, tears streaming down her face. Tom shifts uncomfortably, avoiding my gaze. The judge watches impassively, taking in every word. Evelyn turns to the judge. Your Honor, it's clear that the actions of the defendants have caused irreparable harm to my client. We seek not only justice, but a fair resolution for the pain and suffering endured. The defense lawyers present their case, trying to downplay the affair, to paint it as a momentary lapse in judgment. But the evidence is overwhelming. The judge listens carefully, his expression unreadable. As the trial progresses, the tension in the room builds to a breaking point. Witnesses are called, including friends who testify to the changes they've seen in me, the toll the betrayal has taken. Each testimony adds another layer to the picture of a life torn apart. During a recess, I step outside to catch my breath. Jane follows, wrapping her arms around me. You're doing great, Mark. Stay strong. I nod, trying to draw strength from her words. Thanks, Jane. It's so much. I know, she says softly, but you're almost there. Justice will be served. Back in the courtroom, the final arguments are made. Evelyn's closing statement is powerful, driving home the impact of the betrayal and the need for accountability. The defense makes a last-ditch effort to sway the judge, but their words ring hollow. The judge calls a recess to deliberate. The wait is agonizing, each minute stretching into an eternity. I pace the hallway, my nerves frayed. Jane sits nearby, watching me with concern. Finally, we're called back in. The judge takes his seat, his expression grave. After careful consideration of all evidence and testimonies, I have reached a decision. My heart pounds in my chest as he continues. The defendant's actions have clearly caused significant harm to the plaintiff. The evidence presented leaves no doubt of the betrayal and its impact. Therefore, I rule in favor of the plaintiff. The settlement will be upheld, and additional reparations are ordered to address the emotional distress caused. A wave of relief washes over me, mixed with a deep sense of justice. Lisa and Tom sit in stunned silence, their faces pale. I glance at Jane, who smiles encouragingly. It's over. I've won. Leaving the courthouse, I feel a strange mix of emotions. The victory is bittersweet, a reminder of the pain and loss I've endured. But it's also a step forward, a chance to rebuild and move on. Jane and I return to the cabin, the tension of the trial finally lifting. We sit by the fire, the warmth and crackle of the flames soothing my frayed nerves. She looks at me, her eyes filled with understanding. You did it, Mark. You stood up for yourself. You got justice. I nod, the weight of the past few months slowly lifting. I couldn't have done it without you, Jane. You've been my rock. She smiles, leaning in to kiss me. The kiss is soft, tender, filled with a promise of healing. As we pull away, she takes my hand, her touch a comforting presence. Let's put this behind us, she says. Focus on the future. I nod, feeling a sense of peace. Yes, it's time to move on. The days pass in a blur of activity. I throw myself into work, taking on new projects and challenges. Jane and I grow closer, our relationship a source of strength and comfort. The pain of the past still lingers, but it's overshadowed by the promise of new beginnings. One evening, as we sit on the porch, watching the sun set over the mountains, Jane turns to me, her expression serious. Mark, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. I look at her curious. What is it? She takes a deep breath. Would you consider moving in with me? I know it's a big step, but I think we're ready for it. Her words catch me off guard, but as I think about it, I realize she's right. We've been through so much together, and our bond has only grown stronger. Moving in together feels like the next natural step. I'd love that, I say, smiling. Let's do it. Her face lights up with joy, and she hugs me tightly. Thank you, Mark. I promise we'll make this work. As we sit together, watching the last rays of sunlight fade, I feel a sense of hope and excitement for the future. The road ahead is still uncertain, but I know we'll face it together, stronger than ever. The next few months are a whirlwind of activity as we prepare to move in together. We find a cozy apartment in the city, close to my work and her studio. The process of combining our lives, our belongings, is both challenging and rewarding. Each step forward feels like a victory, a testament to our resilience. Our first night in the new place is special. We cook dinner together, laughing and talking, the weight of the past finally lifting. Afterward, we sit on the balcony, sipping wine and enjoying the city lights. Jane leans against me, her warmth a comforting presence. I'm so happy we're doing this, she says softly. It feels right. It does, I agree, feeling a sense of contentment I haven't felt in a long time. This is the start of something beautiful. As the days turn into weeks, we settle into a comfortable routine. We explore the city, finding new favorite spots and making new memories. The pain of the past still lingers, but it's overshadowed by the joy of our new life together. One evening, as we sit on the couch watching a movie, Jane turns to me, her eyes filled with love. Mark, I want you to know how much you mean to me. You've been through so much, and you've come out stronger. I'm so proud of you. Her words touch me deeply, and I pull her close, kissing her softly. I love you, Jane. Thank you for being my rock, for helping me through everything. We spend the night in each other's arms, the bond between us growing even stronger. The future is still uncertain, but I know we'll face it together, with love and strength. As the months pass, our life together blossoms. We make plans for the future, talking about dreams and goals. The pain of betrayal is a distant memory, replaced by the joy of our new life. One day as we walk through the park, hand in hand, I realize how far I've come. The journey has been long and painful, but it's led me to this moment, to a life filled with love and promise. I squeeze Jane's hand, feeling a sense of gratitude and hope. The road ahead is still uncertain, but I know we'll face it together, stronger than ever. The pain of the past is a distant memory, replaced by the joy of a new beginning. And for the first time in a long time, I feel a sense of peace and happiness, ready to embrace whatever the future holds. The trial's conclusion feels like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Justice has been served, but now comes the hard part, rebuilding my life. I need to find a new sense of normalcy, a way to move forward from the chaos. I focus on my work. My job at the architecture firm becomes my sanctuary, a place where I can lose myself in blueprints and designs. Each project is a small victory, a step toward reclaiming my life. My colleagues notice the change in me, more driven, more determined. They don't ask questions, and I appreciate their silence. Jane is my anchor. We spend our evenings together, talking, laughing, making plans for the future. She's patient, understanding, and gives me the space I need to heal. Our relationship grows deeper, the bond between us strengthening with each passing day. One evening, as we sit on the couch, Jane turns to me, her eyes filled with warmth. "Mark, have you thought about what you want to do next? Any big plans?" I shrug, feeling a mix of uncertainty and excitement. "I've been thinking about starting my own firm. It's something I've always wanted to do." She smiles, her excitement infectious. "That's amazing. You'd be great at it." "I don't know," I say, feeling a surge of self-doubt. "It's a big step." "It is," she agrees. "But you're ready. You've been through so much, and you've come out stronger. This is your chance to build something new." Her words resonate with me. I realize she's right. This is my chance to start fresh, to create something that's mine. The next morning, I begin laying the groundwork for my new venture. I research, make calls, and start drawing up plans. The process is daunting but exhilarating. Each step forward feels like a triumph. As I work on building my firm, I also focus on mending my personal life. Lisa has moved out, and we finalize our divorce with as little drama as possible. It's painful, but necessary. I need to close that chapter of my life to fully move on. One day, as I'm packing up some of Lisa's things, I find an old photo album. Flipping through the pages, memories flood back. Happy moments, vacations, family gatherings. It's bittersweet, a reminder of what was lost. But I also realize how far I've come. I'm no longer the man defined by betrayal. I'm stronger, more resilient. As the months pass, my firm starts to take shape. I hire a small team, passionate and talented individuals who share my vision. We land our first big project, a modern residential complex, and I throw myself into the work. The project becomes my therapy, each successful milestone a testament to my new beginning. Jane is by my side every step of the way. She's my sounding board, my cheerleader, my confidant. Our relationship flourishes, built on trust and mutual respect. One night after celebrating a successful week at work, we sit on the balcony, the city lights twinkling below. "I'm so proud of you, Mark," Jane says, her voice soft. "You've come so far." "Thanks to you," I reply, feeling a surge of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you." She smiles, leaning in to kiss me. The kiss is tender, filled with promise. We pull away, our eyes locking. In that moment, I realize how lucky I am to have her in my life. Life settles into a new rhythm. My firm grows, our projects become more ambitious, and our reputation solidifies. I find joy in the work, a sense of fulfillment I haven't felt in a long time. The pain of the past fades, replaced by the excitement of new possibilities. One day I receive an unexpected call from Tom. My initial reaction is anger, but curiosity gets the better of me. I answer, my voice cold. "What do you want, Tom?" "I wanted to apologize again," he says, his voice contrite. "I know I've said it before, but I need you to know how sorry I am. I've been going through therapy, trying to make sense of everything." His words catch me off guard. "Therapy?" "Yeah," he says. I've been working on myself, trying to understand why I did what I did. I know it doesn't excuse my actions, but I wanted you to know. I take a deep breath, feeling a mix of emotions. Thanks for letting me know, Tom. I appreciate it. There's a long pause, then he speaks again. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I understand if you don't, but I thought I'd offer. I'll think about it, I reply, unsure of how I feel. We end the call, and I sit there, contemplating his words. Part of me wants to leave the past behind completely, but another part wonders if there's value in finding closure, even with Tom. I discuss it with Jane that evening, and she listens, her expression thoughtful. Maybe talking to him could help you heal, she suggests, but only if you're ready. I don't know if I am, I admit, but it's something to consider. As the weeks pass, I focus on the future. My firm is thriving, and Jane and I are stronger than ever. We talk about our dreams, our plans, and one evening, over dinner, she brings up the idea of starting a family. I've been thinking, she says, her eyes shining with excitement, maybe it's time we think about having kids. Her words take me by surprise, but as I look at her, I realize it feels right. I'd like that, I say, smiling. Let's do it. The decision brings a new kind of joy to our lives. We start planning, excited for the future. It feels like the final step in our journey of healing and growth. The pain of the past is a distant memory, replaced by the promise of new beginnings. One evening, as we sit on the balcony, watching the sunset, I reflect on how far I've come. The journey has been long and painful, but it's led me to this moment. I have a thriving business, a loving partner, and a bright future ahead. Jane turns to me, her eyes filled with love. I'm so glad we found each other, Mark. You've made me so happy. I feel the same way, I reply, pulling her close. I couldn't have done it without you. As we sit together, watching the sky turn shades of pink and orange, I feel a sense of peace. The road ahead is still uncertain, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. I've faced the worst, and I've come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it with open arms. Life moves forward, and with each passing day, I find more reasons to be grateful. My firm continues to grow, and we land several high-profile projects. The work is challenging but rewarding, and I throw myself into it with a passion I haven't felt in years. Jane and I begin the journey of starting a family. The process is exciting and nerve-wracking, filled with hopes and dreams for the future. We prepare our home, making space for the new addition to our lives. The anticipation brings us even closer, and our love deepens. One morning, as I sit in my office reviewing plans for a new project, my phone buzzes with a message from Jane. Positive, it reads, followed by a string of joyful emojis. My heart leaps with excitement, and I rush home, eager to share the moment with her. We celebrate the news filled with joy and hope. The months that follow are a whirlwind of preparations, doctor's appointments, and dreams of the future. The pain of the past feels like a distant memory, overshadowed by the happiness we found together. As the due date approaches, I reflect on the journey that brought me here. The betrayal, the trial, the rebuilding of my life. It's all led to this moment. I feel a sense of pride in how far I've come, in the strength I've found within myself. The day finally arrives, and Jane gives birth to a healthy, beautiful baby girl. As I hold her in my arms for the first time, I'm overwhelmed with emotion. She's a symbol of our love, our resilience, and our new beginning. We name her Hope, a fitting tribute to the journey we've undertaken. As I look into her eyes, I know that the future is bright. The pain of the past has made me stronger, and I'm ready to face whatever comes next with Jane and Hope by my side. The road ahead is still uncertain, but I'm no longer afraid. I've faced my demons, found my strength, and built a new life from the ashes of the old. And with Jane and Hope, I know that anything is possible. As we settle into our new life as a family, I feel a deep sense of contentment. The challenges we've faced have only made us stronger, and the future is filled with promise. The journey has been long and painful, but it's led me to a place of peace and happiness. And for that, I am truly grateful. Holding Hope in my arms, I feel the weight of everything we've been through. Her tiny fingers grasp mine, and I can't help but smile. The road has been rough, but this moment makes it all worth it. Jane sits beside me, her eyes filled with tears of joy. We're finally a family and it feels perfect, but the peace is short-lived. A week later, as we settle into our new routine, I get a call from my lawyer. Mark, you need to come to the office. There's something we need to discuss. I can sense the urgency in her voice. My heart sinks. What's going on? It's about Tom, she says. He's contesting the settlement. Anger flares inside me. After everything, he still can't let it go. I'll be there in an hour. I hang up, my hands shaking. Jane notices immediately. What's wrong? It's Tom, I say, my voice tight. He's trying to fight the settlement. Her face falls. What does that mean? I'm not sure yet. I have to go see Evelyn. I kiss Jane and Hope goodbye and drive to my lawyer's office, my mind racing. Why now? What does he hope to gain? When I arrive, Evelyn greets me with a serious expression. Mark, Tom's lawyer filed a motion to contest the settlement. He's claiming new evidence that could affect the ruling. What kind of evidence? I ask, feeling a mix of anger and dread. She hesitates. He's claiming that you manipulated the evidence. He says you staged the recordings and fabricated some of the messages. That's ridiculous, I snap. You know I didn't do that. I believe you, Evelyn says, but we need to be prepared. This could get messy. My head spins. I thought I was done with this, but Tom just can't let it go. What do we do now? We fight, she says firmly. We'll gather more evidence to support your case. We need to disprove his claims. I nod, feeling the weight of the situation. Okay, let's do it. Over the next few weeks, I work with Evelyn to gather more evidence. We review every piece of information, ensuring everything is airtight. I feel the pressure building, the tension creeping back into my life. Jane stands by me, offering support, but I can see the worry in her eyes. One night after putting Hope to bed, Jane sits beside me on the couch. This is so unfair, she says softly. You've already been through so much. I know, I say, wrapping my arm around her, but I won't let him win. Not this time. Her eyes search mine. We're in this together, Mark, no matter what. Her words give me strength. Thanks, Jane. I don't know what I'd do without you. As the new trial date approaches, the tension mounts. I prepare myself for the worst, but hope for the best. The day arrives and I find myself back in the courtroom, facing Tom and his lawyer. The atmosphere is tense, every eye on us as the proceedings begin. Evelyn presents our case with confidence, countering Tom's claims with solid evidence. I take the stand again, my nerves on edge. Evelyn's questions are direct, aiming to dismantle Tom's accusations. Mark, did you manipulate any of the evidence presented in the original trial? She asks. No, I say firmly. Everything was genuine. She nods, turning to the judge. Your Honor, we have new evidence to support Mr. Johnson's claims and disprove Mr. Evans' accusations. She presents the new evidence. Expert analyses of the recordings, digital forensics confirming the authenticity of the messages. It's clear and irrefutable. Tom's lawyer tries to argue, but it's weak compared to our solid defense. Finally, Tom takes the stand. He looks haggard, his confidence shaken. Evelyn's cross-examination is brutal, picking apart his claims with precision. He stumbles over his answers, his story falling apart under the pressure. The judge listens carefully, his expression stern. When Tom finishes, the judge addresses the court. After reviewing the new evidence and testimonies, it's clear that Mr. Evans' claims are unfounded. The original ruling stands. The settlement is upheld. Relief floods through me. I've won again. Tom looks defeated, his lawyer speechless. I leave the courtroom, the weight lifting off my shoulders. Jane meets me outside, her smile radiant. You did it, Mark, she says, hugging me tightly. We did it, I correct her. I couldn't have done it without you. The days that follow are filled with a sense of triumph and closure. Tom's attempts to undermine me have failed, and I can finally move on. My firm continues to thrive, and our life with Hope grows more fulfilling each day. One evening, as Jane and I sit on the porch, watching the sunset, she turns to me, her eyes sparkling. I have a surprise for you. I raise an eyebrow, intrigued. Oh, what is it? She smiles, reaching into her pocket and pulling out a small box. My heart skips a beat as she hands it to me. I open it to find a set of keys. These are for our new cabin, she says, her eyes shining. I thought we could use a place to escape to. A place that's ours. Tears well up in my eyes. Jane, this is incredible. Thank you. We drive to the new cabin the next weekend, excited to see our new retreat. It's perfect, secluded, surrounded by nature, a sanctuary from the world. As we explore the cabin, I feel a sense of peace and contentment. This is the fresh start we needed. We spend the weekend there, enjoying the tranquility and each other's company. The cabin becomes our haven, a place to recharge and reconnect. It symbolizes our journey, our resilience, and our new beginning. Life settles into a beautiful rhythm. My firm flourishes, our family grows, and our love deepens. The past feels like a distant memory, overshadowed by the joy and fulfillment of our present and future. One day, as I sit in my office, reflecting on everything we've been through, I get a call from Tom. My initial reaction is to ignore it, but something makes me answer. Mark, he says, his voice subdued, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I'm silent for a moment, processing his words. Tom, I don't know if I can ever forgive you, but I appreciate the apology. I understand, he says. I just needed you to know. We end the call, and I feel a strange sense of closure. The past is finally behind me. I can move forward without looking back. As the months turn into years, our life is filled with love, growth, and happiness. Hope grows into a beautiful, intelligent girl, bringing joy to our lives every day. Jane and I continue to build our dreams, supporting each other through every challenge and triumph. One evening, as we sit on the porch of our cabin, watching the sunset, I reflect on our journey. The pain, the betrayal, the fight for justice. It's all led us to this moment. I feel a deep sense of gratitude for Jane, for Hope, and for the life we've built together. Mark, Jane says softly, breaking the silence, I'm so proud of you. You've come so far. I smile, pulling her close. We've come far, together. She leans in, kissing me tenderly. The future is bright, filled with endless possibilities. And as I look into her eyes, I know that whatever comes next, we'll face it together, stronger than ever. The road ahead may still hold challenges, but I'm no longer afraid. I've faced my demons, fought for justice, and built a new life from the ashes of the old. With Jane and Hope by my side, I'm ready for whatever comes next. The pain of the past is a distant memory, replaced by the joy of a new beginning. As we sit together, watching the sky turn shades of pink and orange, I feel a sense of peace. The journey has been long and painful, but it's led me to a place of happiness and fulfillment, and for that I am truly grateful. Life has a way of surprising you. Just when I think the past is behind me, I get a letter from Tom. He's been through therapy, he says, and he's sorry. He wants to meet. I feel a mix of anger and curiosity. Jane and I discuss it, and she supports whatever decision I make. I decide to meet him. We arrange to meet at a small cafe in town. As I walk in, my heart pounds. Tom looks different, older, more worn. He stands as I approach. Mark, he says, his voice soft. Thank you for meeting me. I nod, taking a seat. What do you want, Tom? He sighs, looking down at his hands. I wanted to apologize. Again. I know I've hurt you more than I can ever make up for, but I needed you to hear it from me, face to face. I stare at him, trying to read his intentions. Why now? Therapy has made me face my actions, he says. I'm trying to make amends, to take responsibility for what I've done. I feel a surge of anger, but also a flicker of something else. Closure. It's too late, Tom. You've already done the damage. I know, he says, his voice breaking, but I hope that someday you can forgive me. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. Forgiveness isn't something I can give right now, but I appreciate your apology. We sit in silence for a moment, the tension between us heavy. Finally, I stand. I have to go. He nods, looking defeated. Thank you, Mark, for hearing me out. I leave the cafe, my mind racing. Meeting Tom stirs up old wounds, but it also brings a sense of finality. I feel lighter, as if a burden has been lifted. At home, I tell Jane about the meeting. She listens, her eyes filled with understanding. How do you feel? She asks. Conflicted, I admit, but also relieved. It's like a chapter of my life is finally closing. She smiles, wrapping her arms around me. I'm proud of you, Mark. You've come so far. The days that follow are filled with a sense of peace. I focus on my family, my work, and our future. Hope grows more every day, her laughter filling our home with joy. Jane and I grow closer, our bond unbreakable. One evening, as we sit on the porch of our cabin, watching the sunset, Jane turns to me, her eyes sparkling. I have something to tell you, she says, a smile playing on her lips. What is it? I ask, intrigued. She takes my hand, her eyes shining with excitement. I'm pregnant. My heart skips a beat. Really? She nods, tears of joy in her eyes. Yes, we're going to have another baby. I pull her into my arms, overwhelmed with happiness. This is amazing, Jane. I love you so much. I love you too, Mark, she whispers, holding me tight. The news fills our lives with renewed joy and anticipation. We start planning for the new arrival, excited for the future. Our family's growing, and it feels perfect. As the months pass, I find myself reflecting on the journey that brought us here. The pain and betrayal were real, but so is the love and happiness we've found. I've rebuilt my life, and I'm stronger for it. The day our second child is born is one of the happiest of my life. Holding our newborn son in my arms, I feel a sense of completeness. Our family is whole, and the future is bright. Jane and I sit in the hospital room, our children beside us. Hope looks at her baby brother with wonder, her eyes wide with excitement. Can I hold him? She asks. Of course, Jane says, helping her. Hope gently cradles the baby, her face glowing with pride. I watch them, my heart full. We've come so far, I say softly. Jane smiles, her eyes filled with love. We have, and the best is yet to come. As I sit there surrounded by my family, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. The journey has been long and painful, but it's led to this moment. I've faced my demons, fought for justice, and built a new life from the ashes of the old. The road ahead may still hold challenges, but I'm no longer afraid. With Jane and our children by my side, I know we'll face whatever comes next, stronger than ever. The pain of the past is a distant memory, replaced by the joy of a new beginning. As we prepare to leave the hospital, I think about the future. There will be ups and downs, but we'll face them together. Our love, our resilience will guide us through. We arrive home, and life settles into a new rhythm. The days are filled with laughter, love, and the chaos of raising two children. My firm continues to thrive, and our family grows closer with each passing day. One evening, as we sit on the porch of our cabin, watching the stars, Jane turns to me. Do you ever think about the past? She asks. Sometime, I'd admit, but mostly I focus on the present and the future. We've built something amazing, Jane. I'm grateful every day. She smiles, resting her head on my shoulder. Me too, Mark. Me too. As we sit there surrounded by the beauty of the night, I feel a sense of peace. The journey has been long and painful, but it's led us to this moment, and for that I am truly grateful.